Welcome back to our podcast series entitled Intentional. This is Father Mark, and as I welcome you back today, I really mean that welcome. I know that yesterday and Sunday we began to really wade in the waters of holy ground and inch into places of our heart that a lot of us either don't like to go, or we might feel vulnerable there, or perhaps for some of us we just kind of closed the door to our secrets. A lot of times the reason why we kind of close those doors is because of fear, which is what we talked about yesterday, right? Yesterday we talked about inside of fear, we can either be afraid that we might discover something that we think is true, or we might be afraid of God or temptation, or maybe even ourselves, or we might even believe that something's going to happen if we go to our secret. So there's a lot of reasons that we are afraid, a lot of faces of fear. That's what we talked about yesterday. I want to share another thing with you today, specifically about the fear, as we just kind of continue to grow in awareness. And I want to take us deeper into what we began to talk about yesterday, which is how oftentimes in our sin or our secrets, our identity is, you might say, claimed by the secret. We perceive ourselves not to be someone who has sinned or someone who has a secret, but it's easy for us to perceive ourselves as the sin or as the secret. Let me give you a concrete example, and again, it's completely made up, so if it's any connection to either your life or someone that you know, that just know that it's not kind of telling stories out of school, it's just really just an example to help us. So let's say that there is a person and something happened in their childhood where their innocence was taken from them in whatever way that was. We don't have the language to process that when we are children, and we don't have the emotional maturity at that age to handle such trauma. And so a lot of times as people grow older and that secret kind of lays dormant within them, they see themselves as the sin. They see themselves as dirty or as damaged goods or whatever that sounds like in their head, and the very particular, echoes inside their own heart. In other words, they're not someone who had this happen to them. In their perception, they can see themselves as the sin, right? It claims their identity, if that makes sense. Let me give you another example. A lot of times we can't forgive ourselves for our secrets, which is what we're going to talk about tomorrow. And again, another fictitious example. Let's say someone makes a huge mistake, and let's say they are unfaithful in their marriage, and they have an affair. And they keep it in secret because they feel that they are the sin, right? They are an adulterer. They are unfaithful, rather than someone who made a mistake and needs to bring that to the bright light of God's day, but they see themselves as the sin. Now, you could probably, if you have secrets and you're hanging with me here, stay there long enough and you could probably look inside your own heart and ask yourself, in the fear, is there any part of your identity that you think is being claimed by the secret? So the reason why a lot of us don't want to go there is because we are afraid to face what we think is reality. Now, of course, that's not reality. That's not who we are. But we think that's who we are, and that's why a lot of times we run from our secrets. It's important for us just to be reminded, right? Just want to remind you today that the only person who defines who we are is God. And the only thing that we will ever have in our life that will help us fully understand who we are is God's love. God's love can't be taken from you. It can't be earned, which means it can't be lost. And that means regardless of all of your successes in life and regardless of any of your failures, God's love and His mercy are fully available if only we would have the courage to ask Him to be with us. Hang in there. And perhaps just today, think about, in the difficulty of thinking back on the dark times of life, if your identity has been kind of claimed by the sin, and just be reminded that that's not who you are. You're God's, and you're God's alone. I want to give you just a Bible passage, if that would help you today. If you want to pray with it, great. If not, just remember that it's out there for you. I want to bring you to Isaiah chapter 49. And go ahead and just read all of Isaiah chapter 49 and just be reminded of God's mercy and his love in your life. Remember whose you are, which is God, and that's going to tell you who you are. And until our conversation unfolds tomorrow, hang in there, have a great day, and God bless you.